nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we had executive session on personnel and legal issues. Comments from the assembly? You have the correspondence in front of you. We have Vanguard Renewables.
Yes.
Okay. Eric?
Yes. Would you like me to introduce
Yes,
it?
please.
Vanguard Renewables is here. We wanna do a little bit of a brief background. You know, they presented a concept proposal to the Kurtz farm for an anaerobic digester. They presented, I guess, in depth for the board and planning commission at joint meeting. They have advised that they wish to proceed with proposing a zoning text amendment to the board that would allow such a use. But before doing so, they wanted an opportunity to discuss and get feedback from you on what you like, what you don't like about what they have discussed. So it's been a month or two now since you had that proposal, and so that's why they're here. I'll let them introduce themselves, and take it from here. But I think the purpose of the discussion here now is just get feedback from you after hearing from them. It's been, what, a month or two since you last discussed the topic. We have,
I'm Paul Sargent, I'm Development Manager with Vanguard, and this is Anna Lee, my Development Associate, so. And our purpose is to answer any questions that you may have with the text amendment, things that you want to discuss, and if we've met all those needs at this point, we would like to proceed further on the amendment itself.
yeah, a couple other things that I could point out, and I've been working primarily through their attorney. Can't be here tonight, he has another township meeting. He has shared a couple of model ordinances from Lancaster County where they provide for anaerobic digesters. I've provided those examples to you. One of them is from the Lancaster County Planning Commission. And then secondly, as the board's aware, the Penn State Extension had scheduled a tour of a farm locally, just purely coincidentally, scheduled a tour of a dairy farm that had a digester. And while we didn't do that tour, I know several supervisors and myself were able to go visit that down in southern Chester County several weeks ago. So some of you at least were able to see a digester firsthand, not the type that Vanguard necessarily would establish, but similar with food waste. I'm saying that out loud because I don't know if Vanguard.
Eric, can you speak up? The AC just went on. I can't hear you at all now. That's okay.
So that's a little bit more background. So, where do you want to go, or what do you want, who wants to start the conversation?
So, I was going to supervise you down and visit that farm. Now, their food and stuff was actually stored outside, there wasn't odor to it, all right? But Kurt said that you guys are gonna have it in the building, it's not gonna be outside.
It's called a hydrolyzer, and the slurry goes in, and it's in a encapsulated area that has carbon filters. There's no smell. We heat it to 102 degrees and mix it with the manure, and it digestate and sits there for 21 days, and does its thing and reflect the methane of the plant. Now there will also be a facilities where we would bring in food waste that is in cartons and stuff of that nature. And that has a recycling of the air of every minute, like 6 times every minute. And it's all carbon filters, there's no smell to it. And we actually provided one of our sites, the mayor of a town, to give you feedback on, and it's in the middle of their town. This particular is called Agawam, and we provided that to you guys too as well. So, yeah, smell was a question, and we wanted to make sure that we want to be a good neighbor. I mean, we're not here to mess up
the other thing is, traffic. 401 and 23 is already banned. Talked many times about a light down here, especially when school's in session.
Yes, sir.
I know that last one we saw, they were gonna come out across from the fire company. We think that probably be a good idea, maybe to bring it out right across the street from 401, that way the light would actually work in your favor plus everyone else's favor.
Okay.
And hopefully, maybe you guys can help buy the light.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and that's something we think we should look at.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Well, we're also meeting with, we made application with PennDOT, and we're doing traffic studies and all that, so.
19 to 21 trucks a day, and especially in that area, that could be a little issue, right? So
And when we say trucks, so we're gonna have like pickup trucks, people that are, could be full-time employees out at the site, so they will be coming and going, so.
I'd be going if you want.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Go back to the one where you said the ones in the middle of town. I mean, is that facility that you're talking about in the middle of town, is that gonna be of equal size to the one you're talking about putting here?
Yes. Yes.
The other thing is gas is very highly explosive.
No, so, we're looking at compressing, liquefying the gas. So in a liquefied gas application, when it hit the oxygen molecule hits that, it evaporates. It's not a combustible. The other thing that we're looking at this point is doing a pipeline to.
And that's what we like to have it with the pipeline.
Right, and that's what we'll probably end up doing, but we're still.
Now, hauling that stuff out of there would be very dangerous, I think.
Well, I mean, just go a step further, the reason we're concerned about the safety of transporting is that we have two schools right now.
Right, exactly.
And that right there is our number one concern.
And we're leaning more towards the pipeline route because because we don't want to be a safety hazard to anybody.
But now currently, what he talked about with traffic, I mean, when school's in, obviously we have school bus traffic there, but we also deal with, we have a turnpike interchange. And what happens is if there's ever an accident between either the next exit up or the next
They
exit
go down
down,
through there.
they go down through there and it is a complete, absolute nightmare. I mean, it'll be backed up for almost 10 miles from that intersection all the way up. And I mean, to add additional truck traffic or transporting gas would definitely be, like I said, one of the concerns that we have.
One of those concerns is if you bring the driveway out across from the fire company or right at the bottom of the hill, so that traffic, more importantly trucks, coming westbound, they're gonna have to try and stop. If one of your trucks will pull out in front of them,
Right.
they're gonna have to try and stop going downhill fully loaded, at full speed of, speed limit's 35, so I'm gonna say 45. They're gonna have to try and stop. That can be dangerous. That's kind of why we're thinking more towards a red light, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody's following the same traffic
Sure.
pattern.
And plus in the winter time with that downhill slope,
Yeah.
Maybe,
it just adds that much more to it.
Okay.
So if you moved it further west towards 401,
Okay.
and come out of 401, that would leave you a longer runway up to the light.
Okay.
We think safety-wise, it's gonna be better for our residents, better for business, better for the schools, just be better all the way around.
Okay.
Now, did you apply for an HOP permit, highway occupancy permit? Have you done any of that?
I don't know that for a fact. I'll have to find that for you.
Okay.
Do you know how many acres they own versus how many they lease from someone else?
So we're only leasing 10 acres.
But how many acres does Kurtz own versus what he leases?
I think there's 150 or so.
Yeah, something like that.
He owns 150,
That's what, yes, at that particular farm.
and he doesn't lease any of that from anyone else.
He has leased land, but that's not there.
Okay, so
has
he
leased
owns
land.
150.
That's what I believe the property is. I wanna say I remember him saying that.
Pardon?
Is that the case? Do you know?
10 acres. Yeah, it's about around 150 to 180 acres.
And you're gonna lease how many?
10.
I mean, the concept of recycling, I think, is a great idea. I mean, it keeps it out of the landfills and you're gonna be actually utilizing it. We've talked before, we grew up in farm country, so the manure smell we're completely used to. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's better than the city in my eyes, but, when you mix food with it, I mean, there is a concern there about the smell. I mean, I just, you know, some of the other ones that we went to weren't your facilities, so they don't have the indoor storage. Now, I personally wasn't there, but, you know, there was a little odor being around the schools and stuff. Cause I know when it was originally presented to us, it definitely, the facilities that they showed us was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, to me, and it's like, you know, I mean, yeah, we're rural, but we're still, we have developments, you know, a mile or two up that way, but within a 2-3 mile radius there, I mean, we have 2-3 schools. So that does concern us, I mean, without a doubt.
So the digestate that comes out on the other side of the digester is like a peat moss material, and we will have what we call a screw press. A screw press will separate the water from the solids, and they can use that liquid to irrigate their fields.
Right, so he currently has a system, an irrigation system.
And
set
there's
up.
no smell to it other than it smells
Right.
like peat moss.
I think I'm more worried about like,
There's a picture of what we saw down there.
No, we don't do stuff,
You
we
see,
don't do
it's
that.
all land there.
No, we don't do that. Our facilities are all indoor. and
So
it
that there
doesn't
will
get
be
the-
nothing outside?
No, sir. No,
I
sir.
see.
even the dumpsters that'll take away your packaging from all the food and stuff.
That'll only be, like, your plastics and stuff like that, and we will haul that off, you know, to the landfill.
The positioning of all your digesters and stuff, you know, we also talked in the meeting about maybe where you put it at, try to keep it from, people can't really look at it or something.
Right, and it's gonna be behind that barn.
Blend it kind of into the hillside.
Yeah, it's
maybe
into the
kind of thing.
hillside up there.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the traffic, like I said, I mean, that definitely is something would concern us. I mean, if you're gonna hook into the pipeline, that definitely would be a plus.
Yes, sir.
I'm not aware if that pipeline would even accommodate that kind of gas. I don't
We've
know.
already got costs and everything from the company.
Okay, but you can tie
We
into that?
can tie into it.
Because it's located on the property, correct? Is it?
No, we have to go to, TCI has the Trans-Canada pipelines where we'll be connected, it's like 6 miles.
Okay, so the Mariner 2 that goes through just the backside of his property isn't
No,
part,
sir.
they don't have natural gas,
No, sir.
okay?
So, I guess I wanna ask, what is the worth in this to our community? And I don't mean monetary value, I mean true worth.
Okay,
So
well,
what is the worth of putting this in there to our community?
there's full-time jobs that are high-paying jobs with benefits. You know, and you can bring, we have some sites where, the schools will bring tours out to teach kids, you know, about science and stuff like that, so. And then, you know, we will be paying the tax bill on the, whatever they evaluate that to be and the millage and everything, so locally, there will be some tax income that comes back to the community as well.
There will be local jobs there, I
Yes, sir.
realize
Yes, sir.
it's not 150 jobs, but,
No, we're talking 8 to 10 jobs
right,
permanent,
okay.
so.
And you do school
Education.
education?
That depends on the farmer. I mean, that we, you know, we have people out there that will take the time and explain what this does and let them touch stuff, kind of thing, so.
This company is open to that,
Yes, sir.
depending on the farm.
Yeah, I mean, and safety, they naturally have to, we have very strict safety protocols as well, so you just can't walk onto a site for no reason.
Right,
Now, the facility that they went to, they were using some of the gas to power generators, which would actually assist the farm. I mean, there's none of that to assist.
Yeah, we're looking at that design, yes.
So Kurtz is mostly making his off the leasing of the land.
Yes, sir.
And then the bedding, he will be able to use the bedding and
Yes.
the leachate. if you
Yes,
recall.
that's correct.
now, I asked this question before, and maybe you can, maybe you can't answer it, but we're putting foods, we're decaying foods into this process of manure. Now, the manure in the past has been whatever the cow ate grass,
Right.
grain, et cetera. Now you're adding man-made, chemically made products, let's put it that way.
Most of them is yogurts and cheeses and stuff that is expired, like strawberries and stuff of that nature that's gonna be organic in design, you know, it's not a GMO of any type or anything like that, so.
Okay,
Most of the, companies that we deal with, like the Starbucks and all those, we take all their waste and process it in. So we're heating this at 102 degrees in a hydrolyzer for 21 days.
Okay.
So and then the bugs eat we're talking organic micro
Enzymes.
enzymes type stuff, that it's the fifth, we become the fifth stomach of the cow,
Okay.
is basically what we're developing here, so.
But as a general rule of thumb, a human body and a living body generally doesn't process chemicals. It takes them, doesn't process them.
Right.
I guess that's more my question, do these chemicals end up in the ground at some point? Or will these enzymes and the heat and the process truly break them chemicals down?
I am not a biologist, so I can't give you an honest answer there, so.
Okay.
I just have one thing, so why an out-of-state company all of a sudden chooses Carnarvon Township, Berks County, Morgantown?
So it's close to the food that we're wanting to bring into it out of the Philadelphia area. And it's close to a pipeline, and it's a good fit for our business model. The time it takes to truck it from the Philadelphia area or wherever it's coming from, it's less than an hour. So that's kind of how our business model works.
I mean, you can understand why we're very cautious, because we have nothing like this in our area, so for us to compare to anything to is kind of obsolete. We have nothing to. To have an out-of-state company come in and benefiting from one of our local farmers, kinda like, we're like, where's this coming from? Cause you're gonna be running the facility, correct?
That's correct.
Kurtz's will not,
That's correct.
so you guys will be down to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Good?
Summarize then, let me just summarize what I've heard, my notes are correct. So I hear that there's a willingness or openness of the board to consider the zoning text amendment that would allow the use, subject to number one, a prohibition against outdoor food storage, which you can accommodate.
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
Strong consideration for the alignment of your access drive to be with or align with Route 401 for safety reasons and traffic flow reasons, which I assume you're willing to look into.
Yes, sir.
Right? Pipeline connection only, is from what I'm hearing here, right? No, what's the word?
Trucking seems to be very high.
Over the road trucking.
So trucking.
No, conversion of the gas into liquefaction or compression on site.
Okay.
I guess trash generated would need to be enclosed, and then removed.
Yes.
possibly, right, so they would all be enclosed.
Our containers are indoors, so we're not,
So even trash would be.
even trash would be indoor, yes.
Okay. And then a request that the digesters themselves be somehow blended into the hillside or topography
Yes.
for aesthetic purposes if possible.
And the Kurtz, they were wanting to have certain, paint type material on it, so it does blend.
And then you say the pipeline's gotta convey it then 6 miles away. So you're gonna need access easements and
Yeah,
such.
yeah, and we'll take care of all that.
You're gonna be able to do that.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out at this point, so we hired an engineering firm to go out and do title work on the tracts of land that we'd have to come across and see if there's any existing easements that we would have to,
And don't forget they offered to help on the, by the light.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Investment that we need.
I mean, how much are you talking for a light?
Well, we don't even know.
We don't
know.
We don't even know. I mean, it's an intersection that's plagued us for a while,
Okay.
but I think it would be beneficial if we could all work together, especially if we're gonna be adding a road there. I think a combination of the school district would probably benefit because of school buses and that, I mean, maybe we can come up with something.
And in future use, what we're thinking about it, if this happens, is it's probably going to grow at some point. I'm sure it won't get smaller. I'm
Right.
sure there won't be less traffic, So, I mean, that's what we sit here for, to try and plan tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And you said about liquefaction, I think we might have said it backwards. So you, you want to keep it liquefied, not as a gas, correct?
No, it will be a gas if we use the pipeline route.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah.
I think what he,
Yes.
I just wanna verify where the
Yes.
wording was right, cause I think it was a little
Board only
confusing the way you
Yeah,
said
the
it.
board only wants to see this as a pipeline-connected activity,
Okay,
not as a conversion
okay,
of the gas into either compressed or liquefied
Okay.
gas.
yeah, I just wanna make sure that we're on the same page on
But
that.
maybe you can answer this, are there restrictions to the pipeline? I'm pretty sure when these guys went to visit the one down there were only certain, like 6 months out of the year, they could actually access the pipeline. Now, whether it was the reason that they put something else through the pipeline, I didn't know if that's.
I've built many pipelines. I've worked for Kinder Morgan in the past and built, 40-inch pipelines from West Texas to Houston. And as long as we're getting a certain amount of area within that pipeline, so we would have, devices along that route, that would, keep from corrosion and all.
Well, no, I think what I'm saying is when they went to visit, I think the farm that they were dealing with had a pipeline, but they could only actually deposit into it like 6 months out of the year, and then 6
Oh,
months
no,
they had to
no.
store it on site.
No,
And
we,
truck it.
we don't do it that way.
Okay.
It's direct flow out. We're not making money if we're storing it, so.
Did anyone in the audience have any questions?
Ma'am?
If there's a problem with the smell, what do we do?
Buy some air freshener. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
No, we've not had that problem. I mean, seriously,
In regard to your lagoons, I guess specifically,
well, lagoons, the water that comes out of the digesters is, the smell's been taken out and it's going into the lagoon itself, so.
And then who's getting the gas?
TransCanada. They'll be the purchaser of the gas.
And then where's the garbage coming from?
Well, not garbage, food waste. Different companies like Dannon Yogurts and,
From Philly.
yeah, from Philly.
Transfer.
Yeah.
Their junk up to us.
Yeah.
Well, they already do, they're in the landfill.
Yeah.
And now there's more.
Well, it eats it up, the bugs within the manure eat up the material, and it comes into like a material that you can reuse. They can reuse it for their bedding for their cows, the peat moss, and instead of using sand. So there's different uses that they can use for it.
And you're guaranteeing you no smell.
Yes, sir.
No smell. You're guaranteeing.
No smell, yeah.
I have a couple
The dump
questions.
wasn't supposed to smell either.
With the what?
The dump over here wasn't supposed to smell either.
Russell.
Jack, Lynn?
So I think in the prior presentation, meeting a few weeks ago, they mentioned the negative pressure in that building
Yes, sir.
to mitigate the smell escaping. As I know physics, negative pressure only works when the doors are all shut.
Well, the doors are all, and we got carbon filters that are.
But when the
recycled.
doors open, as you're bringing stuff in throughout the day, negative pressure goes out the window.
Yeah, but we're still running things through the carbon filters, and they're recycling the air every 60 seconds.
You can't recycle the outside air when the doors are open.
No, but we're capturing all the smell that's inside of that building as it comes in.
It confounds me that you can guarantee that there's no smell.
I mean, we've provided information from the Agawam facility that it's in a downtown and they don't have any smell and haven't.
The other question about that was that Paulie asked is, when they were talking here at the first meeting, they were giving, the truck capacity of the truckloads per day. And this one was approximately twice the trucks per day that any other ones she listed. But you're saying it's the same size, and that doesn't square with this.
What do you mean?
The capacity to process the food items you bring in this unit was about twice the largest unit you had done previously.
Well, we're designing this in design phase right now, so we will know how much trucks we will need on a daily basis.
So you don't know that yet?
I don't know that yet, no, sir.
Well, then we were given a number at the last meeting, which was just a random number then, is that the case?
It was an average,
It was an average,
yes, sir.
it was an estimate?
It was an average on what our existing digesters use.
Okay, the other question I have is, in the prior meeting, there was a mention of, they had applied for, and I forget which governing body they did, but it was, they applied for the ability to bring trucks in a certain hours, you know, daily, I forget what it was, 8.
8 to 5.
Except that application was stated to go to 10 o'clock PM, 10 o'clock at night.
I wasn't aware of that.
And my concern is that if you're granted that ability to bring trucks and unload in that time frame, and the promise was, the words were, no, we will do it from 8 to 3, so we won't interfere with school traffic and all that. But if you actually have the ability or the authority to bring trucks in up till 10 o'clock at night, there's nothing that, once permits are issued, there's nothing that anybody can say, if you choose to make it, 5 to 10 at night is when your truck traffic happens. So that to me is a concern for the community.
Well, I mean, if that's a concern, we'll definitely look at, what works for you guys as far as truck timeframes.
Can that be included in the ordinance language?
Yeah, we could address that for the ordinance. So we're not relying on the permits, we're just what we made in statements during presentations. So if there are operational hours that we're going to live by, I think that they should be put into the zoning text amendment.
I'm trying to reiterate what he said, I think where Lynn was going with that they presented 3 or 4 different farms to us. And pretty much what they said was that this particular one at the Kurtz farm would be bigger than the ones that are currently operational with the company. That there are a couple that you are designing right now that are up in northeast somewhere that are as big as this one, but this would be the biggest one. So it's very hard for them to compare size style trucks because this would be the biggest one. That's what you're kind of saying, right?
Yeah, it's like, there was a statement of 19 to 21 trucks per day. Well, if that's happening in, a certain amount of time frame, that's quite a few trucks per hour.
Right.
Based on the time that you said you want to operate. And so that does affect the traffic, which is already challenging in this community at certain hours of the day.
So tractor trailers, we're looking anywhere from 8 to 12, and the remainder is pickup trucks, for the personnel that work there.
So 8 to 12 trucks of product
Yes, sir.
is what you're bringing in.
Yes.
And that's purely an estimate or conjecture
That's
on your
purely an
part.
estimate at this point, that's correct.
I'm not comfortable with
On that point, size, if the board wanted to proceed more cautiously, do you have the ability to scale your lease, your use, to have a smaller, scaled down digester, so that the board can see and study the impacts or not? So you're proposing, I think, 2 digesters, right?
So our new drawing is one that.
It's a one large digester, and it's a certain size. You have the ability to, scalability is what I'm getting at, you have the ability to come in a township with a smaller digester and a smaller lagoon to give the board and the community a sense of what the operation is like, a sense of what to expect from odor and traffic, get a comfort level, and then scale it up if everything is working as you would expect.
Well, and I can recommend if you guys wanna go see one of our sites, and visit, and smell it, touch it. You're more than welcome to do that.
So scalability would be something.
Where is the closest site that is the
Vermont.
most similar?
Vermont.
Where is the closest site that's less similar?
I'd have to look and see, compared to here, I'll have to get that information back here, so I don't have it here off the top of my head.
Where's the place we've been talking about that's in a town? Where is that located?
It's in Vermont.
Ogre.
Huh?
I'm just guessing how to say it, spell it.
Agawam?
Yeah.
AGAWAM, Agawam.
Yeah,
So how far away is this project coming from?
60 miles,
60 miles away.
yeah, that's the worst case.
That's better than I've heard from you guys. The pipeline is 6 miles away.
Yes.
Like where is the connection? Where's the, we would be.
We're still working that out.
I know, but where is that pipeline?
I don't have the drawing here,
I'm just curious how much that's gonna affect other people. And then the truck traffic was a concern. What was your guesstimation for the truck traffic? 'Cause you said 8 to truck
8 to 12.
trailers, but then you also have, well, you may not
Yeah,
have the gas
pickups.
trucks now because you pipeline it. And then, and how much, employees, you said it was gonna be like 8 to 10 employees? And then any other vehicles besides that?
No.
And then the trash trucks, recycling trucks for the trash. And then the hours, and then, you actually said 2 different things. Recycling the air, so many times a minute is that?
I can get you the.
Yeah, you said 2 different things, you said, so every minute or a couple times a minute? Cause you said 2 different things in your
Okay,
conversation.
It's, every minute, it's going through its process and recycling the air.
Cause you said a couple times a minute, then you said, every minute, so I wasn't sure which one it was, okay.
I'm curious about the truck traffic again. You were saying, at the prior meeting when they made the presentation, they were saying 18 to 21 trucks
Yes.
a day
Yes.
of product coming in. Now you're saying 8 to 12. How does this,
I don't know who said that, but it's 8 to 12, product, and then the rest of it would be pickup trucks.
pickup trucks for what, of product?
Of that, no, it's our employees.
Oh, employees, I don't care about that. I mean,
Well, I'm just saying
that's-
that we're including that as trucks.
That's not what we said at the first meeting. They said 8, they said 20-ish trucks.
Okay.
Alright, so, you have everything we need, Eric?
Yes.
Any questions?
Thank you for coming.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alright,
you.
thank you.
Just send me an email, Eric.
Yes, I'll send an email.
When it comes to this facility, is this gonna be something that you're gonna build onto eventually, or this is gonna be it?
Well, I mean, technology will change over a 20-year period.
Well, obviously, but I
You
mean,
know,
it's
so
not,
I
you didn't set aside to build onto this,
No,
right?
no.
So your hopes that
10
maybe you
acres
get
is-
another facility maybe in the region somewhere?
Well, we're working, with another farm way north of here, couple hours, and then a couple down in the Baltimore area, so.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Safe travel.
Okay.
Thank you. Resolution 2023-43, accrual account supplemental appropriation for $5,250 for carnival entertainment.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
We have township complaint form received June 13th regarding apartments on Main construction.
I talked to Scott Anderson about that, and he met with the builder, and they went down to supposedly resolve that. They did put some additional E&S measures up, and I know when they looked at it, it looked like the guy's been having a lot of issues with water in his garage. Were you there at all? So, we can address that more when we have our meeting here.
Okay. 12 Oxford Drive fence encroachment agreement for approval.
Is this in reference to the pictures that we took by witnesses?
No, this is,
No, this is a completed thing,
Yeah.
signed by the resident, right?
Yeah, this came up with Mr. Perlin, your zoning officer, brought it up a couple of months ago, where he identified a fence that was permitted, but across the line. So the guy did it according with the permit that was issued by the township, but it goes into your property that you own.
He was
Very
working
nice
on it.
fence, it'll last forever probably, but instead of requiring that it be taken down, you've just given him a fence encroachment agreement that acknowledges that it's trespassing on your property, that you're permitting him to leave it there, for the time being, presumably whatever comes down in natural course, they're directed not to put it back up in that location.
Okay.
So he has signed it, if you wanna sign it, then it can be recorded.
And does that protect us if we have to take it down, so that we don't have to put it back up?
Correct, it does.
Do we need a motion to sign it?
Yes, you do.
I'll make a motion to
Motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Flag drop box, design options for review and approval.
I would note, for the record, Joe, when you complete it, dated as June 20th, because that's the date that he signed. June 20th, it can't be dated different than the notary date of June 20th. And then it needs to be notarized when you sign, and then we need to go about recording it.
I'll take that with me tonight. Flag drop. Drop off box. I can't get rid of it.
What,
The design flag.
what is this for us?
Well, I think we're gonna let the library pick their own, is that what we were gonna?
Yeah, this is for us.
This is for us.
Is this for the library or for you?
No,
No,
for
for
here,
here.
for the flag drop off box that we got for here.
That one's nice. And that's the, that one, no,
This one's nice.
I think I like that one.
Let me see.
Oh, mine is this one.
Which one you picking?
I like that one.
This one,
Yeah, I like that too.
okay, so who's in charge of this?
I guess I am. I found the boxes and Bev gave me those designs. Alright,
Remember.
Got that?
they're on the big screen now.
No.
Next one.
That's a horrible one.
That one.
That
That
one.
one.
We're gonna have to put some lettering on that. I would let it up to Bev. My eye would tell me that gold letters or depositable gray here or something of that nature. We're gonna put it out there. Are we gonna write a program, or are you just going to allow Boy Scouts say they're holding the ceremony and wanna come in and take the flags? You just gonna let whoever, or you gonna restrict it just to the Legion, or, does it matter to you?
As long as someone does a ceremony to
Right.
get rid of them properly, I don't care who does it. It
Right.
could be the Legion, it could be the Boy Scouts.
I wouldn't mind if they join hands to do it.
That's just, they're just trying to ward off that housekeeping issue. Somebody comes in, knocks on the door and says, we're the scout troop from so-and-so and we're doing a flag burning ceremony and we know you have a container here, can we?
Maybe they could coordinate it with the Legion and somebody could earn their next badge by doing a ceremony.
I think the
With the
Legion would
Legion.
probably be more consistent in
Yes.
doing that
I do
than the
too.
Boy Scout troop.
Well, I would like to agree with you, but I'm not sure that's a fact. It's been a number of years from, admittedly, they were several thousand in a pile waiting to host that. So-
I mean, I'll use your judgment then, I mean, if you think Boy Scouts are better, I mean,
I'm just asking whether you wanna be involved. If somebody knocks on the door and says to Joan or Margie that we're gonna host an event, can we pick your flags up?
Keith, can you head that up? Thank you.
well, I mean, what do you got, once every couple months, once a month, they go down and look,
I don't know when they're gonna come, I have to figure
Keith,
that
can
out.
you head that part up? Thank you.
We don't have anyone listening. We know.
I don't know, is it, first I saw this, were they bringing something last meeting? What did we talk about?
We've been discussing.
Oh, we talked about flag, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
I don't know if you were here at the last meeting. I went to a salvage yard up in Reading for some other stuff I went for personal stuff on a Saturday and found these 3 boxes that very much resemble the old post office box.
Yeah.
And at the citizens' request for a receptacle to place old flags here, I found them and we purchased 3 of them. So there's 3 of them. This is the first one that we're gonna make a flag receptacle and put here at the township office. There's 2 others that we could make book returns, you could offer to sell it to the Legion and make them,
So the library's gonna take long.
right.
Okay, so why don't we just get started on this, and then we can probably in the office or more, make phone calls for people, to organizations to see if they, and are
You may
interested
have,
in it.
you may have veterans that would like to do ceremonies, who knows?
So we can check on that.
Yeah.
Are
So
you
we're on that
interested
pillar.
in hearing a cost on this from Bev, or are you kinda gonna run with it? She didn't provide any costs.
Well, I guess we always have to have a call.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
good costs.
So this is the one you like, and I'll
Yes.
send that back and ask her to put a quote together for that, for your July meeting.
Maybe get something that says flag drop on it or something, however she wants to do it, whichever.
This is not a mailbox,
Well, where are you thinking about putting it?
right here somewhere.
Inside here.
Oh, because we wanna make sure it's marked so that the senior citizens coming with meds don't mistake it for a medicine drop box.
Yeah,
Well, I'd
he
put
said
it on
about
all
old
sides.
letters.
Yeah,
I would put
So-
something on all sides, when you think, the door opening on the top and on the sides and stuff.
Yes.
I know there was some discussion, I don't know if you wanted it inside, we had also talked about putting it
Put it
outside.
right out here beside the building.
Yeah. If you
If
put
the
it
water
outside.
Which would be
it
better,
has
because you
access to-
can't get in here unless it's during
Right.
normal
Right.
business hours, so you
Right.
can drop it off at all hours of the day.
Right, that's, yeah.
That's, I thought about.
it'd still be on
it.
camera,
And we have,
Right.
we have the camera out there.
so, any issues with it?
Alright, we're good?
Yep.
Alright, municipal bid results for trailer and truck bed ads.
This the.
Yeah, we posted the, truck bed for Public Works.
This is old.
Okay.
It met the reserve, the truck bed did. So just wanna let you
I
all
think,
know.
I think the church bus is called the trailer bus.
The trailer that is for sale, that closes tomorrow. It's pretty close to being reserved, it should fly tomorrow. If it doesn't, I guess.
Knock it off. Okay, we're good? Letter of support for Comcast grant application.
I have a letter that Comcast sent a sample of. They're requesting the township support for a grant they're applying for to provide service to unserved communities within the township. So the letter you have in your packet there, we filled in Arlington Township, and Eric helped me formulate, a statement supporting this grant. So if the board approves it, and you'll Sandy sign it, and I'll send it back to Comcast, and they'll include it with their grant packet.
So Comcast is applying for money because they're gonna bring stuff to us, correct?
So
But it's
they'll
only-
do the village and the places that they originally didn't have on there.
They didn't tell me which areas, but I
Well, that's what I was
think
gonna
they
say,
will.
so
Otherwise
is
they're
it for,
doing,
is it for everybody in the township, or is it just for certain areas in the township?
I haven't seen their application, but I can certainly ask them.
So these are areas that Service Electric does not cover?
right, there's a few areas around here they're not covered, Chestnut Hill, they're
There's
not
a few
covered.
areas not covered by anybody
Right,
because of the expense that
Right.
would be required to line cable.
But
That's
my,
what they told me.
if
when
that's
I
what
asked.
grants for, so they can run it, well, yeah, I'm all for
I'm
it.
for it, right, but if it's just to run it to the people that have cable
Already
now,
have access to cable just to
Right.
run it, then,
no, I don't
Right,
agree
this
with
comes with questions, this is an open-ended statement, really.
it. Right,
can we find out?
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know what their deadline is for the, grant, but.
I would say,
But we would
if someone
pay
wants
them
to,
through our ARPA funds?
Yeah, my understanding is it is not for places that are already served or
That they
released.
can get.
This is for areas that they cannot serve on their own. That the federal government is helping fund areas that are underserved or not served due
so,
to the
someone wants
cost.
to make a motion that we approve this letter if we find out that, yes, it's gonna be for those areas, just a confirmation.
I'll make the
But
motion.
using our ARPA funds.
No,
They're applying to.
It's a
they're-
special
They're
federal,
applying for a
They're
grant.
applying for a grant.
Right,
so it's
If
no
if
loss.
this is, if this is to cover areas that aren't covered
It
under
don't
the
cost
law,
us anything.
yes, I would second that.
So we have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Third-party utility location works quote.
I'm still waiting on another one there. Keep
Telephone
promising.
System upgrade.
Okay, so this is just to bring up for discussion at this point, not to necessarily make a decision, but we know that our phone system is way outdated. So it's the same system we've had since 2011. And every time they come in to repair it, they remind us that it's old. So Penn Delegated came through and they gave you an estimate. Now they only provide a monthly program, which basically means you rent the phones. And then I guess when the time comes to upgrade it, you're a part of their monthly plan, so they'll come in and upgrade it when needed. So that's a one-time charge to set that up, $1,000, and then for the equipment and all, $3,100. And on a monthly basis, it's $571 a month, once it's established. So just to have it here for our use, it's gonna be like $6,800 a year, and that's renting it. So that's gonna include a contractor, they'll come in and fix whatever is broke, you know, how that goes with rentals. But then you have the AT&T who currently comes in and fixes the phones, and maybe Chief can vouch for me here, but they seem pretty good at customer service when we have an issue. They don't, you know, make us wait weeks, if we've had happened before.
So their price is $21,200, but, and no maintenance? It's included in that price that they come out?
The 2,100 would be you're purchasing the phones,
Uh-huh.
the equipment, so it includes the install,
But no service.
training. No, it'd probably work like the way it is right now. I mean, I would verify that with them, but right now they are currently our contact. When we have an issue, they come out, and the bills really haven't been outrageously expensive, considering how old the system is here. It's been very reasonable.
Does Comcast have a business package? Do they do that? I don't know if they do that or not.
To buy,
I think they do.
Jack?
Elverson Supply just switched to Comcast,
Okay.
new phone system, the whole deal. It took them a whole day for some reason. But we're on our own to figure it out. They have no service.
Oh,
You call them and they try to explain it to you over the phone.
that's not good.
no, that won't work.
What about
So what,
So
when it comes to phones though, like, okay, our system's what, 12 years old? So like, how long is this system good for? So like,
average, I say not more than 10 years.
what AT&T is offering to
Yes.
purchase, it's probably gonna be just like this, very similar. I mean, we haven't really had any major issues with it, but they said in time, we will.
Mine only went 12 years to a circuit, I couldn't even afford it.
so what I'm saying is it'd be cheaper to go that route than even do that $6,800 a month if you're doing, if it,
A year.
you know, a year.
Right, so,
Yeah, but when if the upgrade's included, then that's not the case.
If,
Well, and I'm saying, if in 3 years,
but in 3 years, that's gonna be $21,000 roughly, 20,600.
but the system should last hopefully 10.
Yeah,
But if it
and-
lasts 10, then you're
Now
gonna be
we're in.
at $70,000.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Where the other one is 21,000, and if it lasts 10 years,
Right.
we're all stars.
But we still have to pay for it if we call someone out.
You might be at
That should-
30,000.
Yeah.
So these are just two different systems, that's what the price difference is?
Okay, yeah, so for AT&T, the one works with our current system, so they won't have to do any major rewiring or anything. The one below it, they're running a deal, so it's slightly less than the other one, but it would make it all totally IP. I'm not real technical when it comes to this stuff, but, they would do an upgrade for the connection.
It's an
So-
upgrade, but it's cheap.
It is, yeah, cause they said they're running a
It
special.
does not make sense.
Wow.
Well, that would be the IP, that's all over the internet and in the cloud. So, right now, we're still hardwired in. If if the electric goes down, we can pick up the phone, and we're gonna have the dial tone.
Yes.
IP, you do not, you're losing it, cause you just lost internet.
Yeah, which I think you are IP, right? When you have issues,
Yes, well, yes.
and they're okay with us sticking with it.
I mean, and a lot of people do go with the IP. What's the difference?
I don't see the IP as being a whole, I mean, it's less than the regular. The difference between them is less than $1,000.
Right.
You know?
And they do the installments, 4 installments on the upgrade one as well. Well, I mean, I think either one of those, I think check in to find out if there is like a service plan for that, like if there is, or if that's included with that. I can imagine like upgrades and maintenance and all that stuff, gotta be some sort of plan to look at it.
And I can invite them to one of their workshops, maybe, one of those, separate meetings.
Joan, what did you say? I can't hear you.
I just said I can invite them to a meeting if the board wanted an administration or something. But they both have great customer service. Peninsula Data, I didn't realize this is actually owned by Service Electric.
Yes.
Okay. So they're making some adjustments, they're merging in some shape or form, so.
Well, right now, my phone service is, I have my cable, my internet, my phone, all through Service Electric. Sorry. I have no problem with it.
They were actually an upgrade from the other service.
Yeah, they were.
I think we should
Okay.
find out.
Okay, so give a little bit more, and then we'll keep moving forward.
I'll have to upgrade a meeting.
Dog wall modernization letter of support request.
We received this, I don't know if you had a chance to read this yet or not. They're asking for a letter of support from the township regarding some changes to the laws for dogs. I don't know if you wanna review this and then maybe put this back on the agenda for July after you look at it and see. There's no real timeline for an answer from us. There's some changes to the laws, probably overdue.
So what does this require us to change?
Nothing for us to, it's just, we would send a letter of support to the representatives saying, hey, we support this, Senate Bill 746. Reference to the dog law.
We can add this under the clause of hippopotamuses and rhinoceros.
Yes. But this is all the state, this would be all the state stuff, this would have nothing to do with the township ordinance. This would be what the dog ward works under.
Right, I mean, this is for buying, selling, making sure everyone's aware of the time of the sale and getting the dog's
Your
license.
breeder,
Yeah,
all
so,
that stuff, so.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it should be licensed anyway, so. give us a clue, why not? It's all good law.
I don't know if it's-
Give us a clue.
We want Joan to draft the letter on behalf of supervisors, be sent in support.
Yeah.
They gave some samples, so I can have it for your next meeting.
Motion, second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Ragnar Relay Pennsylvania 2023, October 13th to the 14th.
Yes, this is, an event coming up, Monty actually took the call, gathered the data. So this is, something coming up in August, they don't need fire police assistance, but, maybe for now, for them, we just have to look at all this, and chief, the police, public works. It's gonna possibly be quite the group coming through, so it could be in the middle of the night, odd hours, we just didn't want anyone to be called off guard. It seemed like it's a very well organized event, and I think it's really nationwide, so, everyone
There's
is,
gonna be a bunch of runners out from October 13th to the 14th.
and it could be in the middle of the night, so
Okay.
we I don't know how, maybe when it gets close, we can maybe post something on
Post
the
it, just
website.
stay in if there's gonna be a run, marathon or whatever going on between these dates.
You doing a check?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Park and Recreation. Cole Braziola's request for trail camera reimbursement. Did we request him to put that out there?
We didn't, but he was doing it because of all the stuff that was put out there, because we didn't have the security camera set up.
My concern is, we have citizens putting stuff out because they think they're doing the right thing, and then their stuff starts going missing, and then we're reimbursing everyone for their stuff, and we weren't aware of what's out there.
So he was the park and rec president, so. He was looking out for Aaron, putting all that stuff out there, so he didn't mess with any of that stuff.
So because he was Park and Rec president, he did this. Not just as a
We
citizen.
set it up outside this last year because.
Because of the Park and Rec stuff.
Well, we set up the letters to Santa out here, because we have a camera out here, but the whole letter to Santa with the whole thing that she put up was more than would fit out front here, that's why I put her there. We were in the process of getting our camera. You gotta make a decision, I'll bring it from, that's what you guys.
I just don't wanna be,
He made a police report, right?
okay, yeah, I just don't wanna have put stuff up then and say, oh, my camera, you know what I mean?
I understand.
But because he's with Park and Rec, and he made that decision, I mean, you have any issues?
Ultimately, you should have let somebody know that he let you know he was doing it.
He did let me know that he was doing that.
Okay.
So, and he's the one that let me know, I was there when we located it, or found out it wasn't there, and we called the cops right away. They were hoping that they'd be able to pin it with the tracker in it, but no one's ever turned it back on.
Right.
If anybody turns it on, they'll pick it up, but it was just probably some
We,
kids just
we
trashed
believe
it.
it was just some younger kids and it probably got trashed or thrown somewhere.
But they hadn't known it was there because they came up behind it, cause he
So
had.
you'll know if it comes on,
Well, Cole would
Oh,
know.
well, he notified the company right after notifying those guys about it.
The only thing I would say is if it's gonna cost the taxpayers money, I think the board should know it before it costs the taxpayers money.
Well, I don't think he put it out there in hopes it would get stolen.
Pretty sure.
Obviously.
So, I mean,
But I'm
You know
just
what I'm saying?
saying, if the taxpayers are gonna have to reimburse somebody for something, it should be something.
well, it's a shame
that
that we
might
even
be
have to do that.
Right.
It's a shame we have to do that, that people wanna,
Right, so-
wanna,
I think it's
vandalize
safe.
stuff.
I'd advise him not to do it in the future, but,
I agree.
what do you wanna do with this one? Since he was doing it on behalf of Park and Rec.
Folks on Park and Rec, I think we should give them that, yes.
Motion?
Make a motion.
Second? Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything else needed for executive session? Any comments?
The carnival was a success, and we'll bring that up more at the regular meeting.
Motion adjourned?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.